Marketing health or marketing your health and fitness business is no small task. It's the biggest part of running a business. Often, say a year or maybe less, into deciding they want to be fitness or health professionals, some of the best pros realize the training, the coaching, and the movement they love doesn't matter or take up the majority of their time at all. It's the marketing that does. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business. And by she, I mean you. So we are here typically sharing marketing and sales strategies and then occasionally dipping into the how can you take what you're doing with your midlife training clients and turn it into hormone balancing exercise and really helping them navigate the changes that occur in midlife and throwing out the myths that they need to or you need to gain weight, get sluggish, gain belly fat, and I'm here to help you get out of your own way. Look, I work with a lot of fitness professionals, both on a private and on a group or mastermind basis. And there are common denominators among us. I include myself in that. And those things are we often procrastinate. I've seen it again and again and again. I need this certification. I'm going to go to this course. I'm going to get this education. I wonder if I should go back to grad school. And, the truth is, I did the same thing back in 1980, okay, 7. I was like, I need to go back to grad school because I hate selling and it seems like I'm got to be selling if I'm going to make enough money. So I went back and hid really in the comfort of school. It's a nice life when you think about it. Like your parents are, well, it probably wouldn't work too much anymore, but, well, especially because they're both gone. But, they're more than willing to invest in you because you're going back to school and this is such a big deal, right? And then, you're living pretty cost free. Now, I know some of you have done it the other way, like put yourself through school. I was not one of those. Like, I taught aerobics on the side so that I had spending money and spent it on clothes I was wearing to teach those classes. It was stupid in terms of business model. And I don't mean to call you that if you are spending a lot of money on your clothes and your shoes and your exercise gear and your education. And when it really comes down to it on paper, you don't have a profitable business. But let's be honest. So you may not want one. And that is okay. You're probably not going to spend much time here. And I am not being condescending, and that is absolutely okay. So your idea of success, your definition of it is just yours. It's all that needs to happen. And we need people like you who are good instructors, who love what they're doing to show up every day. And yet for you, the entrepreneur who really does want to have a bigger reach, who wants this to be a profitable business, because whether you realize it or not, making more money means more power for whatever you want to do with it. It's sending your kids to college, planning for your own retirement. You want just the ability to be independent, or you want to use that money to facilitate goodwill, good charity, and make a difference in the quality of what's available and or the fitness industry, whatever that looks like. We are here for you and for the women you serve. So we're going to dive in today and we're talking all about marketing health and what that is like and how you create your everyday business priorities. Because I don't know about you, it is a Thursday morning and right now it's 10:27. Well, I'm starting this and I've got my first appointment is an online and I'm delivering some love to some of our groups at 1, and then a podcast and then another appointment and another. So right now I'm deep in this like to-do list of this is when the magic happens. Like this is when the creation of things that I am going to sell in order to help people as they go through those things, this is when it happens. Certainly doesn't happen while you're in the middle of appointments, when you're delivering that online class or you're doing a one-on-one coaching session. It happens outside of that. And this time slips through my fingers. So I've been up now and working because I work generally first thing in the morning. I think the best, I'm the clearest, and I get so much done usually. But then there's that distraction mode, and I've been up and at it for about 5.5 hours, 5 hours at least right now. And I'm doing this podcast because it comes interrupting actually what I was doing, but this is like where I'm at. And I often will share a meta message with you because I also see it amplified in the people I'm talking to. So if something strikes me and hits me more than once in a week, I'm like, dang, the universe is speaking to me. And I think I'm supposed to deliver this message. So even while I may be in the middle of the mess, I'm going to share that mess and share how I get out of it when I'm in it and how I help clients get out of it. So this is about really how you prioritize and spend your day, but it's going to help you as we go into right now what is fall for many of us, which I call this is the second new year. These are New Year's resolutions happening at the half year, and they don't happen July 4th because everybody's picnicking, water skiing, and doing whatever. But here, when football season kicks off, so does routine. Whether you're retired, you're out of school, long out of school or not, we all get back on this. Okay, it's back to work. The loose summer schedule changes and people get back into routine and they think about fitness when they do that. So you want to be ready. That doesn't mean you're going to go away if that's not the time of year you're listening, because there's always going to be another launch period around the corner. So let's do this. But real quick, coming back to that, if January is number one, I will tell you that for the last 7 years, my biggest month is actually June and July. And I say that's 2 months, but June, because it's leading into what happens in July for us, that's been the biggest month, I promise you. So, whether that has to do with people are in, short sleeves and really thinking about that, there's probably lots of factors. But if you think about first biggest time of year collectively for fitness businesses, it'll be January 1st, then typically September. And then you can come back for the third time is probably going to be spring, depending on where you are in regards to the equator. It may be April or May, or what is the equivalent of summer for you. And I know if you're down under, that may be January, but there you have it. So let's look at this. How do you market health better with better priorities for yourself, how you spend your days? Everyday business priorities, probably the hardest thing to deal with if running your own business. Like you have all this choice, right? With a multitude of to-dos between the marketing, advertising, creating programs and products, determining the price of those, writing emails. There's the incoming calls from customers and people who are marketing to you as a business owner, and calls from prospects. And then there's the sense of urgency that you have about posting on social media. I haven't done that today, keeping up with that. And the same time, you're wondering if keeping up with that is really worth it, or what that secret is that you don't know that everybody else seems to know, right? So that's a time consumption thing, even though it's not tangible. It's like the worrying about it just is like causing you not to go into action and just carry that weight around. So the key is there's a lot, right? So this episode is dedicated to helping you sort out the skeleton of what you need to do. And first, though, to remove the things that are getting in your way. So this little diversion is about that. What's blocking your business priorities from becoming clear. In a very sneaky way, what I'm about to say is a form of procrastination. If you're doing any of these, it's easy to fool ourselves and pretend that some of these are part of business. They're necessary. And I would argue that if you don't have a master plan, these things will sidetrack you. They'll hijack the time that you do have and some of the best time for focusing, by the way. So you've got a business priority problem. If any of these describe you, the first thing you do in the morning is pick up your phone. Just find a way not to. Number two is you create posts to social media before you do anything else. Like you're just a boat drifting without an anchor. If you do that, it'll wait or it should be automated. Three is you look at your social media numbers and they make you giddy or deflated and baffled. Before you look at your CRM, your customer relationship management, where you send your email from, and your subscriber numbers, you're counting your deposit slips instead of counting cash. And I mean the ones that are blank in your checkbook, okay? So make sure you don't go there and prostitute these other things that really are not going to help you. They're giving you some kind of a quick hit. It's going to be good or bad, but we tend to do it. So do not go there first. So what is important? In the sea of things to do and possibilities that you alone decide, it's important to know how you determine the most important thing. One highly successful business owner said during dinner with he and his wife and I, at the end of the day, did I make more money than I spent? He said, that's how I define success in my business. Simple, right? And yet to build a business with a cash flow, I mean, that is the most number one way to say, right? We want to do this. Unless you have tons of investors or investors, maybe few who've invested tons, who fund your business and you're okay losing money to start up in order to make predictable gains later, you want to stay in cash flow. You want to sell before you spend. So with an in-person one-woman shop or an online fitness business, that's really very easy to do today. We operate as far from build it, they'll come as possible. Instead, we attract them, we sell them things they want, and then create them after. And that's pretty easy, with personal training or a personal training package. If you're doing pre-recorded programs, the very first time you do it, I would never, ever, ever do that. Or if you do, I would simply stay 1 week ahead. That's it. Now, that may make some of you who like to get things done early nervous. Okay. But if you're going through it live with live people who you think you know better than anybody else, but you don't because you're too far from clueless. You are too smart. You're too much in love with exercise, and the rest of the world is probably not as much. And they've got so many more priorities that are potentially going to come and interrupt it and be first. So it's important that you don't go there. But here's what I want you to know, that you are not going to have that happen every day. Some days, especially at the early stage of your business, which can last for a long period of time if you're really not 100% in on doing that every day, you're going to need to create content and marketing content that will create an audience to sell to first. So there is some kind of investment of time, money, energy that has to happen at the beginning of any business. I mean, you're not just going to boom, say, you know what, I'm going to start a business tomorrow and start attracting people. How are you going to do it? There's got to be that. So unless you have a big budget and a proven advertising strategy and a funnel that converts, investing in paid advertising too early is risky. Now, there are probably 2% of people who go into business doing it, and they do because they have the funds to do so, and they are following some kind of an already proven model. They didn't make it up. Right? And I promise you that or me, we think we know. We think we know exactly what our customer wants. But look around you. Just open up, start having a conversation with other fitness professionals, and I guarantee you that somebody you talk to in your first 3 to 5 people that you talk to has built this elaborate program full of videos and PDFs and content, and nobody bought it. They haven't even paid for the investment of their time if they were paying themselves. And you may think, well, I don't mind. I love it. Right. But your time is worth something, right? And if you were going to pay yourself what you would pay someone else to do the comparable work, I mean, the amount of money that I would earn over the course of a year is far greater than what I'm actually paying myself. And I'm okay with that. Instead, I take a distribution. We're not going into that today. But it's important for you to realize, what has to be done and what doesn't. So when you need traction, when you're starting, 2 questions to ask so you can determine your business priorities. And these really are one and the same, just a different way to say it. Number 1, is there a promise that the way you invest your time will provide a return on that investment? When you're on social media, there is not. It's like, here, let me give you the dice. Why don't you just throw them? And the second question is, what are the good non-revenue ways to spend your time? So, you can basically eliminate a lot of things when you ask that first question. Is there a promise, like a guarantee that you're going to get something back for your investment of time, money, and energy doing what you're thinking or what has taken up your time? And then 2 is, what are good non-revenue ways to spend your time? Because we do have to do that at the beginning and even in the middle of your business. There will be those days when you're doing that kind of thing. So number 1, here are 2, by the way. So I'm going to give you number 1 and then 2. Create a product. What that looks like is like you're creating a course or a framework for the course and the marketing copy for your opt-in pages, the emails to sell it, and then the emails that will come after they buy it. You're planning the assets that you need to create or outsource. So there's 2 parts to this. Can you hear it? So first, when you think, I'm going to create a product, you think about, what is that product? Well, maybe for you, that's I'm going to create an 8-week course, and it's going to include videos for exercise. And this is my area of expertise, and this is the market that it's for. So what you do when you're creating a product is, first, it's like, I'm going to do a presentation or I have to write a paper. You're going to create an outline of the things that you do need, and then write down all of the little pieces under the main headings for what you need. Like, I'm going to create a course with videos. Okay, what's in each of these videos? If it's 8 weeks, is there 1 video a week? Is there 2? Is there 3? Is there 5? What do they look like, those videos? And you have to describe it before you can go just blindly creating, right? So you're creating this outline. And then the second layer is actually doing it. But these are good ways of spending your time. That's 1, creating product. Because if you don't have anything to sell, there's a problem there. Okay, business plan. That's another good way to spend non-revenue time. You got to have a plan. So plan your next 6 months of your promotions, your launches, and your marketing. That's what we're talking about with business plan, not the kind where you're creating a business plan so you can go apply for a loan. You already got started, right? So here's what that looks like. So first, let me tell you what it's not when you're creating a business plan. It's not creating all the pieces. It's like I discussed with the product, first you got to create the outline. So it means to plan what you need to do so that then you can plan what literally goes into your calendar. Say next week on Monday afternoon from 1 to 3, you are writing the emails, the sales copy that you'll be sending to your list so that you're creating the desire for this thing that you're selling, right? Or you're creating the videos for the program, the very first one anyway. So you don't have to do all of them. Remember, you're going to stay 1 week ahead. And that's maybe going to happen on Thursday and Friday afternoon. You're going to plot it out. You're going to write the script, the setting, and decide how long do I want this to be, what's in, what's out, and then shoot it, edit it, done, right? So you've got to first, this is the planning, right? So marketing health will take a significant amount of your time until you're confident you know your audience better than anyone else, and until you're able to hire somebody who can do it better than you, and you know exactly what numbers to ask for from that person. So those three things, your time is going to be spent marketing. And that is a wise investment at the very beginning. I think you should wear all the hats when you first start. You should scrub the toilets. And this is the equivalent of doing that online. You know your audience better than anybody. And the reason is so you can create, this is my style guide. This is what we say. These things we don't say. These are the kinds of images we have. We would never post these images. This is why. Here's an example of good image, bad image, good image, bad image. So that somebody you hand this off to can do you. They can use your voice. These are ways I would say this. These are things this does not sound like me. I would never say this. So if you're going to have somebody do your copywriting or create pages for you, they need this information. Otherwise, they're going to do it, think it's awesome, and then come back to you and you're going to change it all. So you're paying them twice and using your own time too, unless you set it up first. So when you're ready to hire somebody, though, you still are the boss, right? So the buck stops with you. They're not going to create a page and guarantee you this is it. You've already done the homework. You know your audience, and then you're going to get better results. So during this business plan, I said three things. You're going to be creating your promotions. That's going to be like your GPS, your roadmap to everything else. When you know when are we promoting and what are we promoting, then you're going to be able to create your launches and the marketing. So let me talk about those three things. We'll break it down. You start with what you're promoting or selling. What program, what package are you creating or featuring? Maybe it's nothing new you're creating, but you relaunch it over and over. In our business, we do a 12-week program. We launch it every quarter. So it almost feels like I'm constantly launching. And then it's like, yeah, yep, we are, right? Because those quarters sneak right up on you. But you plot those things on your calendar. So you put them down, and whatever you are, if you are visual, maybe that's a huge wall calendar. For me, that works really well. And I've got to see it. And then we can look at, okay, all of those dates this is when the program starts. Then we reverse engineer, right? So that'll come with the second step. But you want to think about, is there another program after that? So when people finish that program, what happens to them? So you've got to put that on your calendar too, because you're not launching it, meaning marketing to it necessarily if they roll right into it, but you are somewhat responsible for starting them on it, coaching them on it, being there, getting them going and lit up and engaged in it. So you want to look at what's happening with your time. So you want to write out your plan based on the things you want to sell and when, and how that looks for your customer journey. Where do they come in? What do they need to hear, right? So when your programs will start and end, and always the what's next. So the second piece of that now is launches. So if I know on, say, September 1st, I'm going to start a program, well, 4 to 6 weeks prior to that, I'm launching. It's something that so many fitness pros skip. They don't even think about it. So August 1st, when people are still on vacation, having that last week at the swimming pool with their kids or grandkids, you better be thinking about how are you beginning to plant the seed that summer's coming to an end. Take advantage of these last months, or weeks, but be prepared because we've got something coming up for you to get back on track. So you're both aligning with their values right now and providing the get out of jail card. If you've gotten sloth over the summer, it's around the corner. So you don't want to miss this opportunity because so many others do. If you are planting the seed and you're getting them hooked, now you're going to do so much better. The bigger, the more expensive that program is, the bigger their pain point. You want to make sure you give some lead time to it. So it means, 2 weeks before, 1 week before may not be enough time, especially if it's a higher price thing. A launch includes that pre-launch, right? Launch meaning I'm opening the door to the cart. You can buy it now. A pre-launch is teasing that, hey, something's going to happen pretty soon. We're going to be opening the doors. You want to be the first to know about it because maybe there's a bonus they get if they're in an early bird, or you give them a discount. I don't love the discount, but it does work. So think about if you shoot yourself in the foot because all of your people buy when it's a discount, you want to raise your rates high enough so that with that reflected quote unquote discount, it makes sense for you. You are in business, by the way. You deserve to make a living. So when the card is open, that's when you daily need to be talking to them, sharing testimonials, overcoming their objections, providing information on why this program, why now is the time, and why you are their fearless leader. And then the programs start. So the card closes. You can stop the marketing because it's done. But that's when you right away have to show up for your new clients, right? You have to make sure that they're engaged, they love it, they have no buyer's remorse. So that piece is important. So then what comes next is the third part. When you're in that planning mode, so you've got your promotions on the calendar, now you've backed out to say, okay, this is our runway for 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. We're going to be talking about this heavily so that they're teasing it up. And when the card opens, they're ready to buy. And then you've got to think about as you're planning, now you're creating the marketing that will happen during that runway event. You may decide you're posting a blog or you're creating a full length video 2 or 4 times a month during your pre-launch. And then you'll be sharing out pieces of it. Maybe you're going to plan on going live every week. And in the last week, you're going live, 2 or 3 times to answer questions about you're still on the fence. Well, here's what you need to know, most common questions. And once you determine the frequency that you can commit to for plotting that content over the 4 to 6 weeks prior to opening the card, you decide what each of those posts need to do. Are they for top of the funnel? Are they for middle of the funnel or bottom of the funnel? So what I just asked is top of the funnel is people that really don't even know you. You're not on their radar yet. Is it for them? Just, were you aware that there's a better solution to this? Middle of the funnel means they've already been in your world, but, you're sharing with them, 9 reasons why, and fill in the blank for what kind of program are you offering. And I don't mean why you should do this program. That's not it. But if your program solves a problem, 9 reasons why your knees hurt. If you're offering, for instance, reduce your knee pain kind of a program, avoid knee pain, but get the exercise that you want, need, and deserve so that you can feel better, then 9 reasons your knee hurts. What causes that? And now you've shared a blog and the relevant native ad, meaning you're going to put your program picture and a little description, want some support, or we're opening soon, go on the notifications list, or when it's open, then you'll email that list first or let them go right to it from that page. That's kind of what you're looking for, right? Do you have, when they're at the bottom of the funnel, by the way, it's like, it's here, it's open, ready for you, and they're ready for that kind of message from you. So think about when you're creating your marketing for a certain launch, do you already have content you can use? If you're prolific at creating content, don't know about you, but I am. I love that part, right? I love writing. I love creating. I love thinking about having a conversation with my favorite clients and helping them realize maybe they haven't been asking the right questions. And this is what they need to be asking. That's really my special sauce. Find yours, and think about, have I already created content that really resonated with people? Those are the things they really liked when you posted on social or when you emailed and you had more comments come back in. You may need to review those content pieces and, might need an addition or an update in order to serve your next launch. So it's date specific or not any date, either way. And just make a note, you're not doing the review, right? But make a note that you need to review these and put that review time on your schedule. Do you need to review or create new posts? Will you or somebody else do the research for posts in the outline and the writing? So make a few notes about what topics or slants, but don't do that if it gets you stuck. So if I start, say, an Excel spreadsheet, then maybe we share with our team, like, these are good topics, and here's, what this title could have in it and what program it would be promoting. We keep that year long just going on. But I can get in there and I love like copywriting. I love writing creative titles or saving ones that I've stumbled across, but I could get lost in there for hours, literally. So I personally cannot do that. It's like I'm in like a crack addict. I'm a copy addict. So you don't do the work. You just are writing down, this is part of the work I need to do later. So think about, will you actually do the post creation? Maybe you'll write it, but are you going to create the post? Like, go into your back end on your website, create the post, the formatting, the headlines, the subtitles, the pictures, adding them, centering them, putting them on the right side, whatever. Are you doing that? Or are you hiring that done? So if it's you, assign yourself the task, or assign yourself the task of creating an SOP, right? Which is standard operating procedure. Because if you have done it, but you no longer have that time, you need it done the way you want it done. So you have to go through this painstaking process of step 1, step 2, do not leave anything out, right? And don't do it now. But again, while you're in this planning stage, you're saying, one of the things that has to happen here in order for me to pass this off to a team member is I have to create the SOP step by step and then go through it with them and have them clarify or ask any clarifying questions. But that goes on your calendar, not something you're doing right now. So those are the things you might do in, say, a 3-hour block. You'd write the outline. You'd put on the calendar for the next year or at least 6 months. What are the launches I'm going to do? What are the leading up to the cart open? What's the cart open period? So that launch strategy or pre-launch strategy, what are those? And then what's the content that you'll need? You're just listing them. So you might say 1 hour for each of those things and then be done. Make yourself have that deadline and stick to it, because otherwise you and I could just like, I'm not sure. I'm one of those. I don't know about you, but I've had the whole semester to work on an essay. I'm one of those people who's probably going to wait until the last few weeks because I keep thinking I'm going to get hit with just that lightning bolt idea. And it's not so much that I'm procrastinating because I don't want to do it. It's just, I just think it will be better. I might start writing even, but it's like, I don't know, it's not quite good. So I won't hand it in early, that's for sure. But know who you are, okay? So this might be your 3-hour block of time on Thursday. You're making decisions during this. You're not writing and creating the program or the post during this time. This is the meta view, the overview, but you're not getting in your weeds. This is actually, friend, what we call being the CEO of your business. You have to run it. And then at some point, it will be very clear to you that you'll need other people to do the army of work that there is. And while you're small, not so much, but that's when create those SOPs. Like, this is what I do every time I create a blog post. This is what I do every time I create a podcast or video. So the warning here, this is like cleaning the house. In my experience, it is so easy to go down a rabbit hole while you're doing this. You want something to keep you on track. I mean, have a system of organizing ready when you find articles or videos that you can use. But you will be tempted, at least I am, to jump in and edit them or watch every single detail. Put them somewhere, those links, and grab that link or the folder location and put that on the plan you're creating, but do nothing else. Or you're going to find your 3 hours is up and you haven't gotten anything done. You edited a couple of posts and you still don't have a business plan for how you're going to make more money. You just have this pretty little post. Big deal, right? Social media and marketing health. Let's talk about that. When does that happen? When does the social media happen? It happens after you know why you're using it. When you know what you're promoting and you know that someone needs to know, you know what that thing is, they need to know, they need to think, or they need to feel before they will buy. You have nailed the content piece that gets them there. Then you can post on social media with confidence that your gift is good, right? Now, one of the questions that when I'm speaking to a novice audience when it comes to social media and to the marketing piece, I've got lots of fitness professionals who will come to, say, conferences, right? And they know the training and they know their own concept of what it is they do and they teach, but they want to post on social media and drive traffic right to the thing that they're selling. That's not going to work, friends. That is not what social media is for. Not unless you're doing heavily paid traffic and you already have an audience. If nobody's following you, chances are you're going to struggle because you haven't even found what they really are interested in. And that's your challenge. You've got to get to know them first and know that it's going to work. So, after all the framework is done, then you can pick up your phone, look at social, and you can go posting. So I'd love to know if this was helpful. There's a lot here, and I highly encourage you to listen to this one again. And I would so appreciate you sharing this podcast with a fellow fitness professional. Share the post on your social media story. Let other pros know that this is what you listen to. Even though you probably post to your consumers and to your friends for the benefit of your customers about tips about exercise and lifestyle habits, other fitness pros are watching you too. You and I both want to help our educated, heart-centered colleagues do well in this post-pandemic era. We want to up-level the fitness industry and the health coaching industry because that helps you and I too. Marketing health right now, it's big business. But little business owners like you and I can pivot faster. We do have an advantage. Leave a comment below if this episode was helpful. And I've got an ask for you. Right now, I'm not asking for a sale or for you to participate, but I'm asking if this would be valuable. And then it will be something I will offer if I have enough response. Would a live workshop be beneficial? Walking you through many of the steps that I just broke down. So, in it, we would not only lead you with material so that you can plan your promotions calendar and discuss pre launch strategies and social media techniques that work, will provide you with some white space in that workshop. So, literally, it's not just a I'm going to lecture or teach to you, but you're workshopping. So you come away with the pieces of I've got this plan done. So I mentioned 3 hours, a block of time. We will put a couple more breaks in there. So we'll probably go about 3 contact hours, but we'll go just a little bit longer and put some white space in there so you actually do the work. And we'll follow it with an insert Q&A time for each section so that you're getting some feedback on it right away and not just then hearing my answer to your question, but hearing other people ask questions, which will be priceless for you. You can absolutely complete a framework for your business and add realistic to-dos to your calendar to keep you moving forward. So just respond to us here. Either comment on the post at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/business priorities or reach out to us if you'd like to do that. But here's what you're doing. You're just responding. You're not obligated. You're just indicating interest in learning more. So if you struggle with procrastination about this piece, definitely for you. If you've never actually created a business plan for the next year, the fall before it starts, it's a perennial, is that perennial or annual? Thing that I will do. So every October, I'm definitely planning the first 6 months of the year by looking at a review of what's happened this year. Like, what should be my goal in terms of promotions, what worked, what didn't work, what were my numbers, I spent a lot of time on it, but didn't get much return on it because you want to stop those things, right? Or figure out, oh, that's a problem. I should just fix it and then try again. So all of those. If you've never done that, in an organized way, or that plan really didn't help you one iota to feel calmer, confident, and solid that you know what's next, then this live workshop is probably for you. But I don't want to, as I told you, create it without knowing that it would be helpful. So let me know. What are your thoughts on that? And look forward to hearing you. I want to give you the link to the show notes one last time. It's fitnessmarketingmastery.com/business priorities. And this time right now is key. In another month, the September game will begin. So start kicking off what you are doing right now.